Hey guys, and welcome back to more World of Gun Disassembly. We're going to be doing another Soviet gun. It's the DP-27, also known as the Degtyaryov machine gun, and I'm sure I'm butchered that name. But anyway, this gun follows the same kind of ideas of PPSH 42. It has a barrel like a drum-fed magazine. So the interesting thing about the Degtyaryov 92 is it was relatively cheap to make because it doesn't include a lot of parts, which you'll see here. So the other thing about it is since the drum had feels from a drum instead of a bolt, like a belt clip, it had a lower rate of fire, but generally helped the gun because it prevented overheating, which happened quite often in the higher firing rate guns. The only really bad thing is it was really hard to load the magazines, so often sustained fire wasn't really an option unless you had tons of these magazines lying around. And that actual magazine, like, most of the time you just had the rounds and you filled up the magazine, so. Oops, sorry. Oh no. So I wasn't paying attention, I was talking and not paying attention to how the gun was assembled, but that's what we'll do in the actual disassembly. I always like to take the field strip and kind of teach you guys a bit about the gun before we go right into the more intense strip. I guess the only other thing to say about the gun is due to how it was designed, it's kind of heavy, and then so the bipod tended to get wrecked. If you look at the design of the bipod, like the design just like kind of stick into the ground or whatever substance you could get, and it tended to, from the rocking of the gun, just get absolutely destroyed. And then without the bipod, obviously you can't shoot a machine gun because it would just rock right up. So, but for the most part, due to its being cheap to manufacture and low amount of parts, only 62 parts, it was really generally a success for the Russian or the Soviets at that time. So let's remove the magazine, pull off the cover, and magazine spring. That's all. Like, it's 3-piece magazine. I guess these are pieces to it, but they're kind of more hard built. How to say? They're more built into the frame of the magazine. Is what I guess what I'm trying to say. So, move the bipod. Barrel comes out of this gun really early compared to other guns. So, gas adjustment alignment. Flash suppressor. Perfect. We can now start working on pulling out the connecting screw. We can pull out the whole receiver. I'm going to work on the rest of the gun here. So we can pull out the whole stock assembly. Pull off the oiler. Okay, I thought that spring would come off the oiler, but I guess it doesn't. Stock swivel. You guys from underneath, yeah. Pull safety. So safeties is, I've seen this before in guns. You press the safety and cut it up from the bottom. The only thing that's bad about the safeties is sometimes you can't always tell super well when they're depressed. So if you're in a live fire situation, when you go to fire but your safety's on, that can be bad. Because you don't realize that your safety is off. Where with a more mechanical safety, you can always kind of quite easily tell when the safety is on or off. So left and right locking lugs, which allows you to move the firing pin. Do I pull that out from the bottom? I think so. No. Oh, okay, you pulled out. I'll pull it from the front there. So that's the ejector spring. And then you can pull off the ejector itself. Oh, it's extractor. Is this the extractor spring? I thought it said ejector spring. No, extractor spring. I'm just going crazy. Pull off the gas piston and the main spring. Remove the connector spring, which allows you to pull off the gas piston rod. Okay. Now moving on to the receiver. Let's remove the sight first. We'll start working on the top of the gun. Rear slide sight. Insert cover. Barrel lock. Rear leaf spring. Rear sight base. Magazine catch. And then magazine catch spring. So note the magazine catch is in the top of the gun rather than the bottom because the magazine goes on the top of the gun. So generally though, you can expect the magazine's catch to be in the bottom of the gun. Just thought I'd point that out. It's obvious if you think of it logically, but sometimes these things kind of evade you. So there you go. It seems like a lot more parts, but it's actually not that many. So put the front sight back on. Oh no! Oh, sorry. Oops, I didn't mean to actually click on that. No, I thought it was ejector spring first. One of these sight bases. Okay, we'll barrel lock. Oh, okay, ejector. Then the ejector spring. Then the rear sight base. Rear sight safety. Magazine catch. Okay, so that's the leaf up there. Didn't know what that was a part of. Can be hard sometimes to tell what stuff's a part of. Okay, there we can put the rear sight spring. Reassemble the rear sight slide. Then we can reattach the rear sight assembly. That's part of that. Just looking for the insert cover there. Okay, now we can put it back. Oops, I apologize. Gas piston rod. I'm kind of clicking on stuff to do that sometimes. Main spring. Gas piston. Extractor. Extractor spring. And I'm also like moving the camera like a crazy person. So part of that. Right locking lug. Left locking lug. Bolt. Put back together the oiler here. Put back on the stock swivel. Stock. Reattach the stock assembly. Put the trigger and sear back together. Oh, sorry. Safety. No, connect screw doesn't go in yet. Like this doesn't go back on there, I don't think. Or does this go back on before? Oh, this must go on before log and screw login. I remember the log and screw goes on. That is a bit silly. Put the bolt carrier back in. Then the whole receiver comes back on. See, that's how dumb I am. This is like one of the last things that go back in. Back in screw. Slide assembly. Magazine cover. And magazine. Attach to the top. Right there with that safety. So, there we go. DP27, and we'll show you the operation. So, start off. It's gonna start with, okay, it starts off on max. Sometimes it starts these machine guns off in single fire. So, I like I don't know, it's not that different. Some fire at the bottom, but the bullets come out of the bottom, which is kind of nice in some ways. If you're trying to collect the rounds afterwards to reuse the brass, which often they did, they're going to be in a nice pile below your gun. So, and it has a nice chink to it. So, anyway. I'm going to show you the operation and we'll show you the other state tubes. So, I guess I'll fire it in now the state just so you can see how she works. Okay, so which was the best? 2? 2 is usually the best. That's like 3 in this case. Gives you a couple more things. Okay. So trigger is on this side. We'll slow it to 50. Trigger's depressed, and it just releases the firing pin, loads around, pulls back. So it's out. The round doesn't start loaded. Well, I guess it starts in a loaded state, but like it's not actually in the chamber till you pull the trigger. So you watch right here. Trigger's pulled, releases the bolt comes forward, loads around, and fires it kind of in the same action. So, oops, I accidentally clicked the trigger. Maybe X by 2 is better. Okay, so here you can kind of see the catch here. That's holding the trigger down. There's a little pad here, which is, it's not a sear obviously, but it's what holds the bolt in place, and when it's released, it falls down, fires off the next round. So, and this is right here, is what loads the next round. You see a little spring here, as it's loaded. Oh no, sorry, what caused the next one to go? Oh, it's just spring fed. Sorry. I thought that's what that was for, but no, it's just spring fed. So what happens is there's a big spring in the middle of this, which you can probably see if we just go slow too. The spring just kind of pushes the rounds around. You can see it's that right there. Wonder if you can. Oops, I don't want that. Okay, you can. Click and hide it. So it's a big spring here. We can even go slow motion. And it pushes the rounds around. So. And that's why it's so time consuming to fill up one of these. It's because you have to put pretty much every bullet in individually. Because it's spring fed, so you can't just stick a whole bunch of bullets in. Because of the spring, so give you guys a little bit more view of the slow motion here. Just that 2 times. Kind of see how it works. Look, here is what pushes the bolt. So the releases hits and the spring pushes it back into the locked position. So it's a pretty interesting machine gun. But so if you really want, you can put a tripod up. You can try to carry the thing around, but it's gonna buck up on you so bad. So this is kind of base sights, and I'll cut the pieces back out so you can see. Like that, the magazine doesn't really cut out your field of view because you're not really gonna need to see anything at that level. So, but you can also throw up the rear sight if you need to see as well, and fire like that. As I showed you, the safety is right here, and it just, when it's out, you know the fire, here I'll jump to the X-ray and show you. So it's physically stopping the trigger from being pushed back. Here the trigger can be pushed back. Here the trigger can't be pushed back. It will hit this thing and you can't have to press the trigger. So, and then transport state, you can just stick the flash press around so it doesn't get catch on anything or fall off. Obviously can't be fired in transport state. It's just easier. It makes the gun a lot less long, a lot easier to carry. So, anyway guys, thanks for coming out for more World of Guns gun assembly, and we'll see you in the next one for more. Thanks guys. Later.